when I got the PlayStation 1, one of the first games I got was Spyro the Dragon. Now, in the old PlayStation days, you either played one of two games: Spyro the Dragon or Crash Bandicoot. Now you could play both, but I grew up more with Spyro, though I am rectifying the Crash situation. Point is, Spyro was one of my first games that I owned on the PlayStation, and it's one of my favorites that I play to this day. When I had the chance to, at least. Basically, it's a simple game. You play as this dragon named Spyro. You're in this cartoony world. The plot changes depending on the game. Like the first game, I would say was a little basic. You just the story was a little basic. The bad guy was basic, but what mattered was the gameplay. The gameplay was fun. All the levels are great. You go to different worlds. Each world has a different theme. The boss fights are handled very cleverly. It's like it's what a video needs to be. It needs to be just fun. A story is good, but fun is what's important. Now, I will say this: when it comes to story in a video game, even a simple story is better than a bad one. Like, if you're gonna do a story, you gotta really know what you're doing. If you don't have a story, you want to keep things simple, that works too. It worked for Mario. It worked for Sonic back in the day, before Sonic became a little more story focused. But Mario was always kind of simple, outside of the RPGs, of course. Spyro started off like that, very simple story in nature. But as the time went on, the Spyro 2 and 3, things got a little more how would I say it? Maybe complicated. Not complicated. The story expanded more. There were more cutscenes, more characters, a good chance to expand on the lore. But beyond that, it was still very well done, in my opinion. The stories in the later games were pretty good. And the old classic PlayStation 1 era Spyro was just fun. I basically had a good time. Spyro the Dragon was probably the first game I fully 100%ed. Well, actually, according to the game, I got 120% back. One of my best achievements. So, they rebooted Spyro a few times. They went with this whole Legend of Spyro thing that started in the GameCube era, where things became a little more cinematic. They tried a much more serious tone. That game, how would I describe it? It's a good game, especially if you want a good story. I think some things could have been done better, but I know what they were trying to go for. And it showed Spyro actually growing, showed his relationship with his friends, and his parent love interest, I believe she was. It was a little... Part of me feels like it was forced in, but whatever. Then he had the Skylander stuff, and I don't know what to really make of the Skylanders. It was basically one of the most clever cash grabs I've seen, which eventually other companies tried with the whole action figures, and even Nintendo did their own version of it. Just not only the action figures weren't mandatory, but Skylanders was basically just a fun little thing that they're trying to do. And Spyro's character does kind of change between games. Like Spyro in the old games was this cocky, naive kid, but very heroic, and he just wanted to save the world. He was a little immature, but it was like in a endearing kind of way, nothing cringy. The Legend of Spyro games, he was a little more serious. He really wanted to be the hero that he was told he could be. Skylanders brought back the cockiness, but he was a little bit more arrogant. He could take things seriously, but he was still kind of full of himself. You know what? Different continuities, different upbringings, different characters. I've said this before. I've said this with Sonic and how he's different between media. And Mario's different between media. Even Spider-Man's been different between media, so Spyro for me is no different. It's all about what you like, and if you don't like how Spyro is in these games, in some of these games, that's fine. You probably prefer how Spyro was in the old PS1 days, maybe prefer how Spyro was in the Skylanders games. It's all about perception. So Spyro has a good supporting cast as well. He's got Hunter, who's a good friend. He's got Sparks. Sparks is much more important. He's the main sidekick who's there for all of his adventures. Skylanders stuff had some interesting characters. I think one of my personal favorites would probably be Stealth Elf, who I'm not sure what it is. Maybe because she's this cool ninja character. She got much more fleshed out at the TV show. Granted, the TV show kind of made her too a little different from the games, but whatever. Point is, Spyro's one of my favorite franchises. If you don't have the PS1 stuff, I suggest getting the Reignited trilogy. It's very faithful in gameplay. The story didn't change too much. I think the only thing the story did was when it came to a character named Laura, it's hinted that Spyro had a crush on her, or she had a crush on Spyro. That's probably the only thing they added. Otherwise, the Reignited trilogy is very faithful. Anyway, that's all I had to say. I'm out.